Nebraska grabbed its first conference win of the season as they defeated Illinois 20-7 in Champaign. After a sloppy yet successful performance, Matt Rhule called on Husker fans to enjoy the ride during this rebuilding year. Can a team use the bye week to ensure a smooth road ahead? Come along for the ride tonight as we recap Friday's win and preview the rest of the season with our special guest, former Husker Jeremiah Sirles. We'll also check in on recruiting, Sean Callahan, all that and more next on Big Red Wrap. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Severe, and welcome to Big Red Wrap-Up on Nebraska Public Media. We've reached the middle of the season, and Nebraska sits at 3-3. With me tonight to talk more about it, former Huskers Jay Moore and Damon Benning joining us. So your feelings, we're through 6 games. They beat Illinois. What was your feelings after that game?
Thank God they won.
It's a W, right?
That's a W.
Let's give me a W.
I don't care. You know, just talking with people, I think we've had pretty losses too many times in the years past. We don't have enough ugly wins.
Nice.
I don't know if there's a thing. Is there such thing, DB, as a pretty
loss?
I'm
with you. Good point.
Like, we've had a lot of, that one season, how the close games we had.
Yeah.
Those were pretty losses. I'm all for an ugly win. You go on the road, you're sloppy on offense, you have turnovers, you have penalties, you're turning the ball over in the 4-minute area inside the red zone, and your defense just finds ways to get off the field and get the ball back to your offense and find a way to win. And that's all I can take from it. Yeah, could have been better. Could have been 35-7, 42-7, sure. But it was 20-7, and they won, and they got their first conference road win in many years. And now you just move on, and you try to get better through the bye week and take on Northwestern.
I may steal that line. Pretty lost.
That was a really good line.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm vibing with you. You got to just figure out a way to win, especially on the road. It's tough. It's kind of grimy. It's gutty, and you got to sometimes do things that you don't enjoy doing. And I think with this football team, they found a way to pull it off, and I'm pretty happy with it. And it's weird because personally, this is kind of how I wanted Nebraska to have to play so they could get over some emotional issues. Because when the season first started, I thought it was more an emotional hurdle than it is physical now with some of the injuries and some of their limitations. It's creeping into the physical aspect of it, but I was hoping some of these games would be kind of grimy to begin with so they could figure out how aesthetically it may not always be pleasing, but you're interested in results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the big part about that is, those kind of turnovers in the red zone. You're giving up points like that. We know beating Illinois, but down the stretch, Wisconsin and those teams, it's going to be tough to beat those teams.
You're
tough.
You can't do that against
I don't think they think like that. Right? Like, we always say that.
They need to start thinking that.
We always talk about, well, when the next opponent, and you can't do it here, and this will cost you then. But stay in the moment. Right?
I agree.
They found a way to do it against Illinois. There's nothing saying that they'll do it again against Northwestern. Like, that's the obvious. But people, they just harp on, well, you can't do it against. Listen, how about just win and figure out how to not and get better the next time?
That's human nature, though. You're always trying.
I don't know. People can make you dumber.
They've been consistent. They've been consistent doing this. That's the scary thing. Well, you always told me that before. Once is an accident, twice is whatever. This is the 4th game now.
They're definitely trending. And listen, if you're an Anthony Grant, and we heard him wax poetic in the presser today, right? Coach Rhule. And so what defenses will do is they'll figure that out, right?
Oh, yeah.
A little loose with the football. And, Harburg, he likes to drop a little 3-quarter, get your hands up. Like, all those little telltales, they'll start to come to fruition. But that's coaching, right? Like, that's what makes the game fun week in, week out, is how can we adjust?
3 quarters, you're like Kent Jacoby out there. We have a lot to break down tonight. We can't do it without you. Guide our conversation and connect with us, please. Our call room is up and running, manned by students from the University of Nebraska's College of Journalism. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, fellas.
Eating their pizza from Valentino's and taking your calls. You can also text your email or any kind of question to Big Red at nebraskapublicmedia.org. We're keeping a close eye on social media as well. Share all your thoughts on our Big Red Wrap-Up accounts, and we'll get to as many of the questions as we can tonight, I promise. In last week's Sideline Survey, we asked you which statement best described your outlook for the rest of the season. Not many of you were too hopeful about a chance at a Big Ten West or bowl game, which is kind of surprising. 52% said there's always next year. That leads to what Damon was talking about earlier. Like just win the next game, that's right. But you are looking forward to 2024, I guess. If you missed out on last week's poll, make sure you go and vote in the new sideline survey. It's on our website right now, which asks, which area of the defense impressed you the most with the win against Illinois? Defensive line, linebackers, defensive backs, or all of the above? With that, let's jump into our Illinois discussion with this look of plays of the game. And, of course, this is one developed by Win, right? I know, Damon, you coach a lot of special teams. This has got to scare the heck out of you.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because I'm getting a few goosebumps. We've repped this 200 times today as we get ready to play Millard South, pooch kick. You have to really rep this.
Right.
We always say it over and over again. The ball can't hit the ground. It's always live, and this one came back to get the Fighting Illini.
Yeah, and it was almost back-to-back, too, because the next one, the same thing happened. Sometimes you get a little lucky with the win, but that's Nebraska getting down there, Grant Taggy getting down there and making a play.
Yeah, big Grant Taggy fan, obviously, for a multitude of reasons.
I'm with you on that.
Really good special teams player. Nebraska finally caught some breaks on special teams, or a break on special teams, because they gave a few back later on.
Yeah.
But they caught a break there, and listen, law of averages. Right? It's bound to go your way, and let's see if you can maximize.
You also had the rugby kicker who forgot where he was, I think, on the field, it seemed like.
That internal
was very
clock
strange.
just kept ticking, didn't it?
That was
kept
very
holding
unusual.
it.
Like, is he going to fake that from his own 2-yard line?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
There was a couple of those, because Tommy
Go
Hill
ahead.
caught the ball in the end zone at one point and went, think about this for a second, then took off running. I was like, what are you doing? Go.
He's so hard-headed. Like, he just constantly always wants to make a play.
Yeah.
You just never know. With T. Hill, it's a total crapshoot.
Answer that question. D-line, linebackers, or secondary would impress you the most in the game against Illinois?
Man, they all played pretty well. Other than the nice pass, we had the guy, the one-handed grab. Everyone played solid.
Yeah.
I loved the way they kind of spied the quarterback and let that rush go, and they created some chaos with the stunts up front. I thought the games they ran were really successful, whether it was Bullock sitting back there and spying many times. I thought it was just a well-orchestrated game plan. It just seemed like they had a key on the quarterback. If that first look wasn't there, he was liable to take it and tuck it and run. And like, that's not going to happen. We're going to rush 3-4 guys. We're going to take away his first look, and then we know he's going to pull it down and try to find that gap. And we're going to have our guy sitting right there. So I thought a very well executed game plan. Yes, I know Illinois is not the best offensive team, and they're not a juggernaut by any means, but still. Another solid game plan execution, finally creating some turnovers on defense, getting the ball back to the offense. Obviously, you'd like to see the offense do more with it, but overall, if I had to pick, man, I'll give it to the front seven just because,
because you're a former front seven guy.
Front seven guy.
That's weird, because the more I listen to him, he could I wouldn't fight him over it, but I kind of like the DBs.
Yeah.
And I think they're a victim of, we expected them to be good because of their depth. But look at what's happened to them with injuries, right? They've got a lot of new faces and new places, and guys that we weren't originally counting on, like Omar Brown. Tommy Hill's back making plays. Quentin Newsom was quiet.
Phelan
Sanford has stepped up. Gifford's tops in the team in tackling. They're without Singleton, and good news is hopefully you're going to get him back. Like, I know a lot was expected of the DBs because of their depth, but man, they have been plug and play. And they tackle.
Yes,
they know that's
their physicality and fitting in the run game has been nothing short of impressive.
And we had Barrett Root here. That was one of the things he brought up was the tackling. You know what used to drive me crazy, DB, was there'd be a stat, and you'd look and you'd go, oh, Nebraska can take advantage of that, and they wouldn't. We knew that Illinois could not block up front. They were almost leading the nation and giving up sacks, and Nebraska took advantage of that. And Altmaier was one of my keys. He couldn't get out of the pocket. And they, like you said, they spied him, a little mush rush. They did what they're supposed to do based off film study.
How good? So there's two guys, right? People ask me about MVPs. There's two guys, because I like context, that are kind of coming from off the grid to have really, really good seasons.
Isn't one of them we're number 10?
Jamar Butler's
I love Butler. So Butler's a guy. We're kind of vibing tonight. That's why I'm a big Jay Moore
He's
fan.
impressed. He's nice.
And they moved him from the jack spot to the D line, and he can move him back. But there's two in particular I was thinking of that were kind of left for dead. One guy we talked about a lot, Omar Brown.
That's my guy. Yeah.
Talked a lot about he's got Sunday ability.
Yes.
When he came over from UNI.
Yep.
And it kind of muddled along, couldn't find a role. He's been spectacular. The other, we know he's getting good NIL deals, but Nash Hutmaker has been fantastic.
Polar Bear's playing well.
His ability to play at 45s and in short areas and move diagonal, we knew he could come forward. but his ability to play at angles and lock guys out, I wouldn't argue with you if you wanted to make him the MVP at the halfway point.
And then freshmen, you were mentioning that one time where they get
Great call on
behind
Jamari
Newsome,
Butler,
right?
though.
And Jamari Butler's playing great. But you look at Princewell on that play. He's held. He
Oh, yeah.
probably
On
gets
the-
to
on
the
the long-
quarterback
yes.
on the long pass. He's playing great, too, after being out for a couple
You know
games.
what's funny? We talk a lot about Cam Linhart because he was probably the more ready-made.
Yep.
Princewell has more upside.
Oh, definitely.
He's a young
Long.
phenom. I watched those guys early in fall camp. I'm like, holy smokes.
Yeah. Even in spring,
the
he
young
showed
thin
out.
kid could
Yeah.
play. He says about 2 or 3 words a day, kind of wakes up with a
Yeah.
word quota.
Yeah.
But they got some things going with those young defensive guys.
Yeah, it's impressive.
No, it is impressive. Whether it's Princewell, Riley Van Poppel.
He needs to play more.
But yeah, and I think Rule said that he's trying to get with Knighton and said, hey, he needs
Rotation.
We need some
Yeah.
more reps.
But he's
out of
pretty
Van
gonna be
Poppel.
pretty legit.
And just even Blaze Gunnerson, I know he's played, but just those young guys, it just seems. I'm just listen. I've being a guy that played that position. It's amazing how good these freshmen are coming in to play at this level this early. Because I'm nowhere near this, but I think that just the talent level they played against in high school, I think they came from good coaching. But the ability to obviously come in here at spring, learn the system,
And
just get on top, just getting with the X's and O's and just understanding.
You know how hard it is, whether
yeah.
you're in a 4 or a 5.
Man.
Like, to be those D-tacks, playing over those tackles like that, like, it's not easy.
No,
I know you can appreciate that.
Oh yes, it's a whole new world in there, and it's not for the faint of heart. Trust me. You go from a 5 technique or outside, all of a sudden you're in that 4 or 3. That's a whole different ball game.
tough.
That's a phone booth. That's a fight in the phone booth, and even some of those. I mean, Jamari Butler going in there and playing in that spot.
He's the guy that I would let get
it's-
off the
it's-
bus first.
Yeah, he looks good.
It's
Yeah.
impressive.
Right?
It's
Like,
impressive that
you go
they're
first.
able to do that, and it's impressive that so many guys can do a lot of different roles in this defense. And I think that's just hats off to the defensive staff and Tony White for coming in here and just implementing this plan and seeing it go through.
Move it to offense and Harburg and what you saw from him on Friday.
So I like the game management. And I tell you, one of the things I like about him is he manages the emotions. He's not spectacular, and because I think sometimes we don't give enough credit or credence to being vanilla, right? There's a certain amount of humility that goes with asking people to just don't mess it up. I know they're not saying that, but that's how they call the game. And for him to kind of take that on and say, okay, hey, listen, I'll do whatever I need to win football games, I think it's kind of understated. It's not always pretty, but his ability to stay the course regardless of what it looks like is not for everybody. He probably deserves a look. That wasn't even a great read, but he did it with such decisiveness.
Yeah.
You had a free runner hitter. For whatever the reason, he takes the bag, but Harburg is on his toes so quickly, he makes another play.
Might not have been a great read, but it was one of his best reads of the night because some of the other reads he
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
as good. And they must have told him at halftime, you've got to pitch it because the first 2 chances he got,
I just don't
he
think
pitched it.
people are gonna make him have to get rid of the football until he decides he wants to get rid of the
Yeah, they'll
football.
still play it. They'll shuffle,
Yeah.
shuffle, and just say, okay.
They can get the ball out of his hands.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the stemming issue, what Illinois was doing, the late stem. Iowa does it a lot, saying move, something you guys did when you played.
A bunch, and it usually happens in a 3rd and short, 2nd and short situation. It can be part of the game plan, or you just say, hey, we're going to implement, it's a code word, hey, we're doing, whatever it might be. But yeah, you tell your if you're in the under front or over front, whatever it is, you're just kind of a gap one way and say move, and they're back to they're a shade and a 3 technique, and they might have been a shade and a 3 technique to the opposite side, right? Just move something quick, or outside, a guy's defensive ends are lined up in 4 eyes, move, and you go, and so you're trying to get those tackles or a tight end to jump. Did it all the time. Yes, it's
We use it as a call.
Yeah.
We'll go kick base or we'll go 505 kick where 505, right? A 5 technique, 0, a 5, and we'll kick and we'll want to get back to 3s or like we call it all the time and it's intentional.
Yeah, but you usually say, make sure they hear it too.
Right.
Get the move, get the stem, whatever it is that might cause the offensive lineman, the tight ends to jump. And obviously we saw it a bunch of times against Illinois.
Didn't know that was a disconcerting thing, though.
It's not. It actually isn't. No, that.
I mean, stem is not.
read the rule.
It
It's
still
not.
should
I never
not
said
be
set
that
stem or
right?
set hike, or set move.
You cannot do whatever the indicator is the quarterback's doing, whether it's a clap or hut or whatever. You can't do that. Everything else, you can do.
So when do you think we'll see quarterbacks be called for the the coming
fake clap.
forward
Right.
or
Yeah.
the moving back or
Yep.
the running to the line of scrimmage to set the formation.
Yeah.
Like,
Remember they used to call that under center.
Is that not intent to deceive?
Listen,
Yeah,
I-
remember?
Because I don't. I guess
Yeah.
I don't get it, and I know
Yes.
I'm supposed to be an offensive guy,
Yeah.
but
No.
I just don't like.
it's the
I
same.
just-
It's 6 1 half a dozen the other.
Right?
It's-
Like it's pretty much the same thing. They do it all the time.
Yep. And let's get to the receiver a little bit. We talked a lot about injuries and where they are right now. I've asked you this, I think, 3 times now since the season started, but where are the young guys coming? Who's it going to be?
Now.
Yeah.
This is a great week for them. Jalen Lloyd snuck back to Omaha this weekend and pick his brain a little bit. And, Malachi Coleman got 50-some snaps. And I think Doss is healthy now from the arm
he is.
injury. So now's the time. And they don't have any choices because Fleeks isn't moving. He's going to stay at the running back spot.
Got to.
And, my favorite, my unsung hero, Marcus Washington, is
I feel bad.
devastating news, man.
It's horrible.
Not a fake tough guy. He's a guy that I would ride with and play with. And, they just haven't been able to catch a break at that wide receiver spot.
Horrible way to end your career. I mean, the injuries happen, but this is 6 years. He comes back here. He's dedicated. It makes a great play in the game, and then
Yeah.
That's
all of a
brutal. ACLs are no fun. I've had one.
yeah.
They're
with you.
they're tough to deal with.
They lead to knee replacements. It was great to see the Nebraska team get its first Big Ten win of the year, but some things still need to be cleaned up for future success. Let's take a look at all of it with this week's game highlights. I was not there, but from what I understand, it was a nice night besides of all the wind in Illinois. You can see the flags. It was not nice with all the wind. Starting off with one of the better goal line stances you'll see. And you talked about some of the guys. Nat Hushmaker had a big play here, and then also Van Poppel later. Talk about these inside guys.
Yeah, it's just you're just playing stout at the point of attack, right? And they're physical. Look at that. I don't know who that. God,
Just
they
good
took that
moles,
pole.
right? Just rooting guys
I
out.
mean, I think that was Sherman there. Just that pole. You're just physical at the point of attack. Look at no one's going back.
Nope.
Like you're just solid. You're getting your extension. And it's just, man, I'm telling you what, it's not for the faint of heart down there. You got to be ready to get dirty, and that was perfect execution.
Low man wins and strong man wins in that situation. Here's Marcus Washington. We're talking about his catch that he made here. Ended up with 8 catches for 176 yards on the season. But that would be the last big play he'd make. If you didn't hear, he has an ACL now. I thought Thomas Fidone had a chance because they'd given up a lot of catches to tight ends, and he had a nice game.
He's so athletic, and he's a grinder too, right? He's highly competitive.
Big catch radius.
Yeah. Oh,
Nice.
great call.
Yeah.
Nice run by Anthony Grant there. Thomas Alvano gets his kick, which is great there for his confidence. Gets in there. Nebraska's up 3-0. Harbaugh makes, again, this is Harbaugh dropping down, and it works fine in that situation, especially when it's quick across the middle. But what's hard for him sometimes is to get the ball to come down.
Yeah.
That's one of them right there where you see it's hard for the ball to come down. But Ty Hine gets his first catch on the year. Congratulations to him. How tough is Billy Kemp?
He's the real dedeal.
He's a tough guy.
He has an irrational sense of confidence.
Yep.
It's
Napoleonism.
1,000%.
And there's
Nothing
Anthony.
he can't do, just ask him.
Anthony Grant with his 3rd touchdown of the year to make it 10-0. And we talked about this earlier, Damon, as someone who's coached special teams, the last thing you want to happen on kickoff is to have a windy day like this and guys not know what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, we went through it again today with me, you. If you're not talking, you're not getting it, and how to run and catch and be able to move at the same time. The wind played tricks with it, and this one cost him.
It's probably just a poor. Especially you have always had a guy, a running back coach is always telling them where to line up, and knowing that's into the wind.
Yep.
Probably didn't get enough practice on that pre-game, trying to figure out where you need to line up.
Let's talk about Harbaugh's play here. You mentioned it. Makes the read, gets down, physical at the end.
Yeah, I didn't understand why the defender took the back and not the cue, but a quick decision, good result.
Elmira didn't have a great day, but he did at the end of the half. He was on right here. Ended up being 29 of 47 for 289 on the day. Had the 1 pick and the 1 touchdown, but made several good plays. And this is leading up to the touchdown we mentioned. If you can see in the replay, it was holding on Prince Yellen.
Yeah, it was. It was
Prince
into he was up on the top side and in the field, and he got damn near tackled.
I was hoping Nebraska would win the middle third here. They end up giving the ball back to Illinois. Illinois makes a couple good plays to move down the field, but the defense does eventually step up, force a field goal. And in this wind, even with it to your back, it's still tough. And you can see with this kick.
It looked like a little bit of crosswind.
You're right, because you can see this goes off to the right, and it's short as well. So there's a 55-yard field goal attempt by Caleb Griffin, his 2nd miss of the year. We move on to the 3rd quarter now. Altmyer again having to run. This is a great hit by Phelan Sanford. This is what you guys are asking for, right? Head on the ball.
Absolutely.
It is. When you're in position, you can create takeaways as opposed to hoping for a turnover, and they got it.
Yep, and have the right guy at the right time. And again, another nice bounce finally in Nebraska's way.
Illinois' defense steps up. Just now, Mano another field goal. And we didn't know at this point that was all the scoring for the day. At 20-7, with that much time left in the third quarter, I think we're all surprised. Here's the botched rugby kick.
Yeah, not sure what he was thinking, but, that internal clock, no good.
Yeah, and then a little pull here. Again, so I mentioned the wind was just playing tricks all day in that
Snap was
stadium.
goofy too, though.
And it was a
It was
bad
a bad
hold.
snap and hold.
Exactly.
Yep, snap and hold. It's all part of that. So talk about Emmett Johnson. What you think of him so far?
Yeah, you know what? Like, I like the fact that he's embracing the role. This is kind of new for him in these situations, and he gives it up there. But listen, it's a growing process, especially at the running back spot in conference play with where you are situationally in football games.
I know that wasn't a stretch play, but he really had to reach out to reach him.
Yeah, just got to get on the right
Their
path.
distance weren't great, and it ends up coming out there. But that's Emmett Johnson, who was 7 of 29 on the day and showed some burst for sure. Here's great coverage and great pressure. Ty Robinson after him, and Q gets his first pick.
Yeah, he was due. He's been in the right place a lot and finally got a break, and he's playing at a high level.
Heinrich Harburg ended up having a really good day on the ground as well. 18 carries for 82 yards, and of course he had the touchdown as well.
It's a
Gets
really
the first
good
down
read
here.
right there.
Yeah, gets the first down right here, but then third fumble of the season after this play by Anthony Grant. That's a great move, making the guy miss an open field.
Little excuse me.
Again, you had a penalty that backed him up after this, and then Anthony Grant ends up getting the fumble here, putting on the ground for the third time this year.
Almost 100% of the time when you cut across guy's face,
They
it's
reach
a
back.
recipe for disaster.
They reach back, and they know they're going to be reaching for him. In the end, Nebraska gets a couple stops at the end. And let's go to the stats now after Nebraska wins the game 20-7. Brett Bielema's in a little trouble right now, by the way, because the fan base there in Illinois, even after last year, are a little upset. Nebraska, again, just 21 yards rush with their defense. Great day again. And they lose the turnover battle, but win the game. Doesn't happen a lot for Nebraska.
It's rare for Nebraska.
It is really rare for that to happen, but congratulations to them. We do players of the game. The dominating performance by the defense, this week's player of the game, are both on the defensive side. Phelan Sanford for that forced fumble, and Quentin Newsome for the interception. Phelan was very good on that play, putting his helmet and shoulder on the ball, and then Quentin Newsome being in the right place, making the play and getting the ball back to Nebraska's offense. Let's toss it over now to Jay Moore in the huddle to break down two more explosive plays from the defense.
All right, we got the two players of the game are on defense. We've got two great plays from the defense from Friday night. So we mentioned the spy technique. I'll highlight Bullock here in this play. So Nebraska did a good job of just kind of creating chaos in that pocket. They ran a lot of games. We've already talked about Butler here, how he's done a really fantastic job so far in the season. You're going to see him kind of rushing from that 3 or 4 eye spot. Great inside move, collapse in the pocket. You're going to see Sherman up here, again, collapse in the pocket, and just making that quarterback uncomfortable, making him step up in the pocket and just trying to run. That way, Bullock right here can clean this up. It's exactly what you're going to see. It worked out perfectly. Pocket is nowhere near. Bullock's right there in perfect position. He's just going to step up here and just say, you're all mine, because I got nowhere to go with the football. So it's a good game plan, good execution against the Illinois offense. So I love this shot right here, end zone copy. We're going to talk stunts, and I ran many of these type of games. So this is an ET stunt, double ET. End goes first inside, tackle wraps around. And the beauty of this is this really good job by Coach Knighton is a lot of times in these situations, these tackles like to go outside too quickly. And what that does is those guards' eyes can go right to that end coming in, and then that tackle, you can pass it off, and it doesn't work. So I'm going to show these two inside guys first, line up in over the guards. They're going to make inside moves, so that respects it. Eyes have to go here. It sets up the inside move. You can ear hole the guard. You can do all sorts of things from this position. They do a good job selling an inside move to create space for those ends coming underneath. You get the wrap. It is very clean. You can see the QB's eyes are downfield, but quickly he knows things are going south. Princewell does a good job here, coming inside, and Butler's going to come around and wrap to kind of clean this up, but he does a great move inside. And it's just a good job executing, doing the little things right in a pass rush game.
We give Tony White, obviously, a lot of credit as defensive coordinator, but his assistant coaches, they're coaching these guys up very well.
Yeah, Knighton's a star in the making. And listen, I love Jay pointing that out because they looked in sync.
Yep.
It's almost like a mirror drill where you see the similar route concepts on offense. They look the exact same on opposite sides of that defensive line. That's a beautiful thing.
And that's from repping it, right?
Oh yeah, you got to rep it. You got to do those little things. And again, just the setting it up inside. So many young players, they like to go outside too quick, and he gets those guards' eyes looking outside, and then they can just pick up and pass off those games.
We'll have more from Jay in the Huddle in a couple of weeks. Right now, we're going to take a quick break. Before we come back and get our special guest, former Husker Jeremiah Sirles will join us. Before we go, we take a look at some of the sights from Friday's win in Champaign, courtesy of Hurrdat Sports.
I hope the one thing they learned from last week was that what seemed like really hard, like, man, we're in full pads on the Sunday, the day after we played Michigan, probably will end up being one of their better memories from the year and probably led to one of their best weeks of football. The same problems are still there that were there at Minnesota. You know, the same issues are still there. So we've got to continue to clean them up. My point, though, is there are the same issues on special teams. There are the same issues on offense and on defense. Everybody has their issues. So as a team this week, we have to clean up some things so we can be better against Northwestern. For the second half of the season, I mean, we should try to win every game. You know, knowing that we'll have a chance. Probably have a chance in every game, and also there's not a team that can't beat us. You know, there's not a team we can't beat. There's not a team that can't beat us. To me, right now, the goal is for us to go 1-0 this week, just in terms of improving ourselves and getting the young guys some good work.
Welcome back to Big Red Wrap-Up. Those are just a few comments from Matt Rhule this week following the big win. Now we're pleased to be joined by former Husker offensive lineman Jeremiah Sirles. We appreciate you taking the time and coming on with us tonight. Jeremiah, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you guys having me as always.
Overall reaction to what was an uneven but a W on Friday night.
Yeah, you know, I had the unique opportunity. I got to actually call the game on the Husker Radio Network there with Greg as the color analyst, so I got a front row seat to it. And, you know, I've heard plenty of nitpicking and back and forth, but at the end of the day, Nebraska found a way to win and not lose, right? And I think that at the point of where we are as a program, and the point of where we are is where we want to be, that is marked improvement for me. You know, that's what I want to see. That's how I want to continue to make sure that that's what this team moves forward. So overall, I was impressed with the team that came out and fought after getting punched in the face the week before. I thought they responded really well to adversity.
One way in adversity is coming out and practicing full pads, Jeremiah, the day after the game. Rhule said that's one of those core memories they'll have. But do you think doing that after that game at Michigan will set this team up for success throughout these last 6 games?
You know, I think it was more of like a pivotal tone setter that this team needed. I think Rule in year one is setting a culture of expectations of what he expects from his team. And he made it very clear that what they came out and did, and no one, I think, expected them to go beat Michigan and do whatnot, but they didn't fight initially against Michigan. And that's unacceptable in Coach Rule's eyes and what he plans for this regime. So I think that may look back on the end of the season. We can look and say that was a turning point for this whole team to come out and realize, okay, what we did was not satisfactory. So obviously something's got to change. Now, core memory and favorite memory, Jay, as you know, I can't necessarily agree that that's something I'd be sitting back in the cold tub with. Guys, remember then? But, I think that as a coach, you got to make the tough decisions. And obviously they responded really well to what he had planned for them throughout the week. And I didn't see a team that was tired. I didn't see a team that looked beat up, and they came out and they played physical.
I know Illinois' defensive line, especially with Newsome and Randolph, haven't been kind of what I think the Illini fan base thought. But Nebraska's offensive line able to run the football, right? Leading the conference. What do you think it's been? Because it's been a little bit of a hodgepodge with pass pro versus run blocking. But what do you think it's been about the run game that's allowed them to have success?
No, I think, Damon, a couple things. One, the running backs are starting to trust the offensive line in the run game. Through the first couple of weeks there, I think that with the rotation of Gabe and Ramir and Grant, and you didn't really find a flow, and you started finding it a little bit there with Gabe until he got hurt. But with Grant now becoming the bell cow and the featured back, you're starting to see more of him trusting the blocks and letting it develop, right? His vision is starting to be more there. And then also with Harburg, with his ability to pull it and run and be physical at the end, those safeties had to keep their eyes up there, which doesn't allow them to just fire up there on the running back because they got to keep a lookout for the quarterback. But I'm seeing more physicality out of the double teams with Ben Scott, Nuri, and Piper. And then honestly, Fedoni and Borkature, in my opinion, have come leaps and bounds since their first game in Minnesota with their ability to block on the edge. And last week against Michigan, I felt like some of the running backs were trying to create too much of the explosive play instead of just letting the play come to them. And this week we saw a lot of Grant trusting it, Emmett Johnson trusting it, and just knowing, hey, these 2-3 yard runs in the first are going to open up for us later in the game if I just trust the scheme, trust my guys up front, and just stay true to it.
Former Husker offensive lineman Jeremiah Sherrills joining us here on the wrap-up. What advice do you give to the offensive line to be able to defend against the stem or the move that caused so many false starts this past weekend?
Yeah, it's a tough thing because as an offensive lineman, you're just kind of teetering right on that edge of getting ready to explode off the ball at set hut, right? And so anything that kind of can make you get a little jump free can make you move, but it's just about staying dialed in. You got to be really locked in, and you have to be, especially on the road. Now, I'm not saying Illinois was a hostile environment by any means, but when you're on the road or even at home, you have to be so focused on that quarterback's voice is all you can hear, right? Your job, your assignment, you broke the huddle, you got up, you identified everything, and now all you are is you're screwed in like a cannonball, man. You're just locked in there, and you're just waiting for that one voice, that one thing that's going to set you free. And you just wait and you just listen for it, and you have to stay locked in and not let the other stuff in front of you mess with that. And defenses do it a lot. I mean, I think we got called for the disconcerting signals or whatever that stupid penalty is. So, I mean, it's not supposed to be in the game of football, and I think it's kind of dumb that people try and do it. But when you go to the clap cadence, I mean, you can't have the monopoly on clapping if you're an offense and whatever it may be. So it's just about staying locked in, just staying dialed in, and really just focusing on that quarterback's voice.
Jeremiah, heading into the bye week, the guys are feeling good about themselves on getting a road win at Illinois. But what do you see, what's most important, the aspect of this offense needs to clean up heading into this bye week than getting ready for Northwestern?
Yeah, for me, it's not as much the X's and O's, Jay, as much as it is the operation, right? Making sure that we have the right personnel group in the huddle, making sure we break the formation and we break the huddle, we're getting lined up, and we're not going down to the last second and getting a delay game or having to burn a timeout because the play call's in late, or whatever it may be, because when we get up and we operate and we roll, things are going pretty well. When we step on our own toes, that's really when things start to get in our own way. So I'd really just love for the operation overall from the top down, from Satterfield calling it, from Harburg getting in the huddle for us getting to the line of scrimmage. I'd love to see that cleaned up this week.
What do you think about the quarterback situation? Obviously, Heinrich Haarberg has done well enough to win a bunch of games. What do you think about him going forward? Do you think Jeff Sims is going to get another opportunity? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, last week I said, I think this is still Jeff Sims' teams, and there's part of me that still agrees with that. But at the same time, I have a really hard time as a player if I have a quarterback that just led me on the road and led us to our first Big Ten win on the road, trying to say, okay, yeah, hey, nice job, but get out. But at the same time, I think Harbaugh has to understand he is a little bit limited right now in what he can do as far as passing the football. I think Jeff Sims brings a little bit more of a dynamic offense, a little bit more of a dynamic piece to what this offense can be. But you have to weigh the risk reward of his dynamic and explosiveness over the turnovers and taking care of the ball. And, I think for this week, it's going to be a little bit more of an open competition in practice, and they're going to have to roll with whoever they feel gives themselves the best chance to win. And with the injury to Marcus Washington, with how we're beat up, even if Sims is not the starter, or even if Harbaugh's not the starter, I think they both need to find ways to be on the football field because they're both too talented of football players to not help us on offense.
John asked off of Facebook, Jeremiah, about the play where Ben Scott got the unsportsmanlike conduct hitting a player on the ground. Obviously, there's a line between being really, really physical and being dirty. What did you think about the play?
I thought it was a coin flip play. There's something about when you get an offensive and defensive lineman on the ground, no offense, Jay, that you just want to finish them down in the dirt. It's just an inherent feeling of an offensive lineman of like, oh, you're down there, I might as well just land on top of you. But there comes a point where you have to be very smart. And I hate trying to coach guys out of aggressiveness because I think that's a pivotal part of being an offensive lineman and just a pivotal part of being a nasty player. But you have to understand, if you're going to hurt your team doing it, it's not worth it. And that's now 2 penalties this year that Ben Scott's got doing that. I mean, you think back to what Cam Jurgens did, driving the Oklahoma guy into the bench and those type of things. Those are just emotional plays, but you can't let your emotions overrule you when you're playing the game of football. You have to control those. And I think there's a little bit of a frustration play out of him as well. But I love the aggressive nature that he plays with, and that you can see it feeds over into some of the other guys on the offensive front. But at the end of the day, you just got to be smart.
What do you think overall about the season going forward? 6 games remaining. Obviously, the next one against Northwestern, a team that struggled to beat the Howard Bison out of Washington, D.C. What do you think about the schedule going forward?
Yeah, I said it on the pregame show going into Illinois. We're entering a stretch in which I really believe we can go 3-1 or 4-0 here, and we had to get the first one right. You can't go on a run unless you're starting with a loss. But you look, Northwestern, Purdue, Michigan State, Maryland, all very winnable games in my opinion. I think Maryland's probably the best team out of that group there from what I've studied on tape. But we have to continue to improve on offense and play more complementary football. And if our defense gives us opportunities, or our special teams gives us opportunities to give a ball inside our own 35-yard line, we can't come away with 3 points after 3 opportunities like that. It just can't happen. These teams are going to get better. Northwestern, as much as they struggle, they punched Penn State in the mouth for the first 2 quarters and let them have it. So that's a team that we can't allow to have any life. And then Purdue, obviously, they hung 40 on Illinois, and then Michigan State's got their own bevy of problems there. But these are all games that if we can control our emotions, we can control and not turn over the football, I think our defense is going to give us a chance to compete in every single one of these games. Last question, Jeremiah, from Facebook, and Wesley wants to know, pick one of the players off of either a wide receiver or a tight end that you want to see get the ball more. Yeah, Thomas Fidone. I think that's a really easy answer for me. He's a dynamic guy, and I fall into the trap quite often if I watch him play and I'm like, gosh, this guy's a junior. Why isn't he doing more? And then in reality, in my mind, he's a freshman, right? Like, he really hasn't played a full season since he's been in college, even though he's been here for 3 years. So I'd like to see him continue to get more opportunities, with an offense that is going to struggle with the big play. The intermediate passing game is going to become really important. The ability to get him in the play action, get him over the middle. I think he's a weapon with the ball in his hands, and he's just going to continue to get better and better as he gets more comfortable in this Satterfield system. Jeremiah, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Absolutely. Great to see you guys as always. Damon, Jay, be well. All right. We have a new winner in this week's Game Day photo contest. April shared this picture on Facebook of her and her family cheering on the Huskers in Champaign Friday night. Hello, look at them. Got the hats on and everything, staying warm. It was a windy night. Thanks, April, for sharing your photo with us. It's an awesome photo. Don't miss out your opportunity to send us your best Game Day photo for chances to win great prizes. Here are some of them through the season. We want you to see our Game Day best, so make sure you send us those photos each week from wherever you watch the game. Speaking of sharing photos on social media, let's take a look at what caught our eye over the weekend. You have these 2 pictures here. Nebraska scoring twice in just 10 seconds. On the other hand, leading the nation, or tied to leading the nation with turnovers. It was a kind of a yin-yang. Good, not so good. That's what you post on social media. At least it's not all bad like it normally is. And then our second tweet that we had on social media is very interesting. Look at all those local players. I think a few of them may have played on teams that you coach, Damon. All those guys there, and just hook it up in my veins is what the tweeter says there about that, or the Xer. What do you call them now? I don't even know what you call the people anymore.
It's Twitter.
It's Twitter. It's called
It's
Twitter.
It's Twitter.
He's just so matter of
He's like-
fact. He had me believing. I was like, I don't think they call it
I
that
think they call
because
it
he
X
said
now.
it. I'm going with what Jay said.
We love seeing what you're sharing on social media each week, but we got to take another break. Next up, Sean Callahan talks recruiting, and we preview the second half of the season. But first, more photos from this win against Illinois, courtesy of Hurrdat Sports. Welcome back to Big Red Wrap-Up. It's time to check in on this week's Sideline Survey. Which area of the defense impressed you most in the win against Illinois? That's cheating. Come on. Defensive line winning it 18%, linebackers 13%, but all of the above getting 66%. That's what Jay Moore said as well. With us now, Sean Callahan to talk some more recruiting. It is a bye week, which meaning the coaches are heading on the road.
Yeah, Nebraska will have coaches. They've got one out right now for the whole week. And then the remainder of the staff, a lot of the guys will be out Thursday and Friday. You get 33 total evaluation days you can use as a staff from the start of the season until Thanksgiving weekend. So it averages out to 3 days per coach when you count the head coach. So you don't get a lot of these in-season days, and this is Nebraska's only bye. I'll be most interested to see where Matt Rule goes on Thursday and Friday.
Almost seems like it's a perfect time for a bye, right? Halfway through, coming off of a win, with Northwestern on board, it seems like it's the perfect time for
Yeah, I mean, if you could pick your bye, this
Yeah.
is about right where you'd want it. Nobody in the Big Ten, I believe, has a November bye. I mean, everyone's got October byes this year, and I think this is kind of right, perfectly smack dab in the middle. And now you go see kids that are maybe in their 8th week of high school football. Seasons are getting close to the end, and then get back to work.
Bodie Sukup, let's talk about him a little bit and tell me a little about him.
Yeah, Bodie Sukup announced his commitment officially as a walk-on quarterback to Nebraska this week. He got his offer in the summer. I believe he's been a silent walk-on commit for a number of months now, but went public officially this week. His father is the head football coach of Blair, so coach's kid, good athlete, strong arm, can move. And, they've had their eyes on him. And the key thing is he went to their camp. They got a good read on him and watched him all summer and got that offer in June and then followed through with the commit this week.
I had a friend tell me he reminds him of Bronson Marsh. Remember Bronson Marsh?
He's a little taller. Than Marsh, I would say. But
physical kind of
he's
kid,
put together.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an accurate height and weight from January from our Husker Carolina in-state tour. So, 192, and he's probably pushing 200 now.
Well, let's talk about the Hawaii recruit, Preston Taumoa. Talk about him.
Yeah, Preston Taumoa is the #1 ranked player in the state of Hawaii.
He's a big fella.
And, he's got the ability to play really every spot on the O-line. I think Nebraska's going to give him an opportunity as a tackle first. As you know, those numbers are a little in flux. But Talamoa, the Donovan Raiola connection, was able to get this done. I mean, he took a number of trips around the states, like a lot of Hawaii prospects do. They'll come and they'll visit a lot of places. But that relationship with Raiola, made Nebraska the team to beat. I mean, they beat out Oregon, Tennessee, a number of big-time programs wanted the 4-star Talamoa.
In-state prospect now. I saw this young man play 2 weeks ago at Creighton Prep versus Central. Michael Bird, who's going to be going to Iowa.
Yeah, Michael Bird, a name people in Lincoln and Omaha both know of. His a lot of roots at Lincoln Pius, where his dad was a standout athlete. But Michael Bird, standout 3-sport athlete at Creighton Prep. In fact, as a junior, I believe he was the only 3-sport varsity athlete in the school at Creighton Prep. Played basketball, baseball, and football.
And he's a swimmer as a kid, by the way.
So he's
9 and 10-year-old champ.
One of those guys that he's good at whatever he does, but he's got great length and size at 6'6", 226. Nebraska offered him, and Iowa offered him. He chose, obviously, Iowa. I think he felt like it was a better fit. The tight end situation there was a better fit for him in the long run. And he'll enter that tight end factory in Iowa City.
I know he doesn't have a lot of numbers catching the ball. Best blocking tight end I've seen this season.
Right.
In any of the games I've been to.
Numbers for tight ends, I don't want to say they're overrated because numbers are important.
Sure.
But they're not the end all be all. Like Eric Ingerson, who's committed to Nebraska, doesn't have a ton of numbers, but you look at him, you see his physical impact and presence. Michael Bird, I mean, how many guys in the state at his size, at a Class A school, with that many kids out for sports, can play at the varsity level in basketball, baseball, and football, where you have so many kids go out for sports at a school like Prep, and he was good enough to be on varsity teams in all 3.
Heck of an athlete. Sean, we appreciate it. The recruiting update we get each week from Sean Callahan. Now let's learn more about a current Husker who's been having a standout season in tonight's Huskers Up Close segment.
Watching my brother play here, it really inspired me to be a Cornhusker and want to continue the legacy in my family. I want to be hard-headed, a physical guy that is consistent in his game, especially in the backfield, playing from 10, 15 yards back. I want to be able to come up and hit people. I want people to know that. It's a sport where I can get so close to my brothers that I love them enough to put my body on the line for them every Saturday. Being an older guy, I want to be the guy that young guys can look up to and ask questions and just look to me for answers. It means the world to be able to grow up watching the Huskers and just dreaming about it, since I was a kid, so it means the world to be able to step on that field and represent the Inn. I tend to take a moment every time I run out of the tunnel to just quiet my mind and just look around, just take it all in every time I go out there.
Along with great hair and a great beard, Isaac has been instrumental in the team's success this year, and we appreciate him taking time to sit down with us. Well, obviously, we don't have a game this weekend to talk about, but there's still plenty of football coming our way. Let's take a look at the rest of the schedule for this Huskers team. Let's check it out. I know, Damien, you don't want to look too far ahead. I know that. But give me a guess, if you were going to think, last 6 games, where you going? 5-1, 4-2, 3-3? No pressure.
I like them at minimum 3-3.
Yes, sir. Bowl game.
Michigan State's obviously a swing game, and one of the games, Iowa or Maryland, I think is a swing game. But for me, I think 3-3 at a minimum here.
I think, Dave, anytime you can predict a team won't score more than 20 points, like Iowa, you got a pretty good chance to be in that game.
It's back in Lincoln. It will be emotional. It could be for a bowl game bid. Yeah. They'll be ready.
They're going to score a lot.
I don't love Deacon Jones either, so not Deacon Jones, Deacon Hill.
I did love Deacon Jones, though. No doubt about guys.
Big strong arm guy, not real accurate. I don't think he's endeared himself in Iowa City, so we'll see.
Yeah, he's a big thrower. What's the swing game for you?
I think Michigan State.
Yeah,
I think it is. I think
it's on the road, right?
I think it's on the road. You looked at the schedule early in the year. You thought that was probably one that you couldn't get. Obviously, we were unfamiliar with the situation with the head coach. So I think that's a game now that seems a lot more realistic to get. And, I think you early line on that one probably similar to Illinois, maybe Michigan State favored by 3.5. Yeah. But a game you can definitely win.
No chance that Wisconsin could be at Nike, is it? One of the questions on here was about that.
Well, NBC, they leaked out kind of their pre-selections.
Right.
And NBC has a window there, and it was reported back in the summer that Wisconsin game is tentatively set as a night game on NBC. But you wonder, like, is there used to be a rule where you couldn't play at night? Both schools have
in
to agree.
November, right?
No, well, not that, but it's a short week.
Oh, okay.
Because Nebraska plays on Black Friday, and they're playing at 11 a.m. So you essentially are going to cut out 2 days from your body clock by getting back at 2 in the morning and then playing at 11 a.m. on a Friday.
Yeah. DB, when you're looking ahead that 5-year schedule that they finally had to put out now because of the new teams added, what'd you think about it? How do you think Nebraska made out?
It's tough.
Yeah.
It is really tough. But, I'm kind of used to it with Nebraska since they've been in the Big Ten. The schedule guides haven't done them any favors. And I mean, the next 2 years, I gave it the good old-fashioned wow.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you know me, like it was schedules. I try not to get too far because I don't know what teams are going to have. But on paper, like home and away games, boy, it's not going to be nice especially when you get, Ohio State and SC. You're on the road at UCLA, you've got UCLA and Wisconsin at home.
Yep.
That's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough.
The good news is that at least when you look ahead, they're not going to be giving you all 4 of the old Pac-12 teams at a time, right? Because that would be rough if you had to make a couple trips out there.
Well, yeah, you got to make trips to Washington, Oregon. Obviously, 2 trips to LA.
Yeah.
That'd be tough sledding, and just how good Washington is this year. I mean, they're gonna be tough to deal with coming in here. Those are 4 really good programs, blue blood programs, that are coming to this conference, and that's a lot of travel now.
Yeah, what do you think?
That's a lot of time in there.
Oh, sorry.
I think the biggest thing I look at is how many of these teams have higher ranked recruiting classes on average in Nebraska. And you look at these schedules, most of the years it's 2 to 3. So I think the Big Ten at least balanced it out. It's not like the old day where Nebraska played Ohio State 6 straight years, and now they're on this Michigan cycle. The fact that you're going to see, other than Iowa, a really good balance of the teams. They did about as good of a job as you could putting this all together to where, it's not unbalanced.
How important is it, would it be for you as a player to be able to travel to each one of the teams, to be able to do a road game in each one of the teams over 4 years you're in school?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all. I mean, just for me, I think about maybe how I grew up as a kid. There's only one of those teams that I probably grew up a fan of that wasn't Nebraska, and that would be SC.
Yep.
So that would be cool. But outside of that,
You ain't missing. I'm telling you what, you ain't missing. Let's go to the Coliseum.
oh, believe me, I've been there. There are two
That place needs a high upgrade.
2 fields I thought were extremely overrated. Well, 3. Ann Arbor, the Rose Bowl, and definitely going to SoCal.
So the last time you were there, they did wipe out that whole area, and they built the new apartments and a whole new part of campus for USC. And so that's
my grandmother used to live in Compton, so I'm okay with going.
And Watts on the other side.
South Central.
I'm saying the stadium
I just
is
think the Coliseum is a little.
I played in it. I played in it. The field was a little dicey.
And every single time they get a chance, they play that part of the song, the Fight On song. Every time they get a chance.
Double dip to see this guy and go to Chavez Ravine.
Yeah. What? That's not a bad thing if you can get a chance to go
September,
there.
October game, hopefully, right?
Yeah, that'd be good for you guys.
I remember that.
A couple questions from Facebook. What's up with the no scoring in the second half? I mean, they've turned the ball over, right?
Maybe just in Champaign. Nebraska had been pretty good.
Especially in the first drive.
After halftime.
Yeah.
Going into that one. I mean, obviously Michigan was Michigan, but Nebraska was trending in the right direction coming out of the break.
No, I agree. They had their opportunities. Like I said,
that game was all but over against La Tech until the break. And I mean, Michigan was doing Michigan things. So I don't know.
Give me somebody, what target you're going to see in the portal. I know not a person, but positions. The question from Greg wants to know about targeting guys in the portal. What positions?
Well, I think wide receiver is a must to at least get one veteran body to add, because Marcus Washington, I don't know if he could come back another year. I mean, it's unknown at this point if he could. Kemp's gone. So, I mean, Fleeks is gone. He's a running back now. But they've got to get somebody veteran-like at that room, because I don't think you can say, all right, we're going to go in with Jaden Doss, Malachi Coleman, and Jalen Lloyd and feel good about that along with the recruits. I still think the receiver position and, offensive line, I mean, they've been trying to get a tackle in the portal for quite a while. And I'm sure everybody in the country is looking for a tackle in the portal.
Are you for or against, and this is a question from Joshua on Facebook, are you for playing both quarterbacks? Not at the same time, but rotating.
I am, because I think they're leaving too much on the table in the unknown without playing Sims. And listen, they've turned the ball over, right? And it's not always been from the quarterback spot, but I am definitely, I think Sims is too good a talent to leave it unknown if he can kind of rectify some of those issues. I'm for playing both quarterbacks.
Do you think you can fix emotion at this point of someone's career?
Not right now. I think you can fix it in the offseason. I don't think you can't deal with it right now.
How long did it take Aaron Rodgers? I mean, to get the Tedford out of him.
And some people never. I mean,
That was an offseason.
remember David Carr never could get it.
Yeah.
They tried to fix it, never could fix it.
Yeah, I don't think you can work on it. I think it benefits him, and sometimes getting down there low. And I know it drives people nuts because he has the guys are able to get their hands up. I would love to play against a quarterback like that as a defensive lineman, but it has some benefits. But you can't touch it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to leave it till that's a spring ball. That's a spring ball fix.
Is there a game that you look ahead and say to yourself, it could be a good recruiting weekend left?
I mean, they're essentially going to have all 2:30 games in Lincoln. I mean,
Yep.
the next two are going to be 2:30 or 3, and then the Maryland game is projected NBC 2:30 as well. So they got 3 great weekends. Iowa 11 a.m. Black Friday. That's usually
It's always
not.
tough.
I mean, you might get some like JUCO guys back in the day to come on that, but it's hard to get kids here on the day after Thanksgiving. So they got 3. This is a really good year for games because there's only going to be one 11 a.m. game, and that's the Iowa game.
Give me a burning question.
My burning question going in, can Nebraska get to a bowl? And I think it's obviously starts this week preparing this team. But, these next 2 games at home are as big as any home games as we've had. They've got to take care of business and take a step forward.
DB?
Can the wide receivers step up to help them evolve in the passing game? They need to make about 2 or 3 plays a game going forward in the passing game that they're not expected to make. Can the young wideouts help them do that?
I mean, it's for me the bye week. How physical you want to get in practice? You want to get guys rested up, but you still got to be attacking. This is, you got 6 more games to go. How can they come with this bye week? And Nebraska's struggled coming out of bye weeks in the last few years with the win. So if they get this win against Northwestern, come out of the bye week, that'll be big.
Got to get healthy. There's a couple guys that are banged up, and nice to see Cam Leonard in there and get him playing again. And so just get healthy. Even though there's no football game this week, we still have a lot of sports content coming your way, starting with Nebraska volleyball match on Friday when second-ranked Huskers take on Michigan State. That game will start at 6 p.m. Central on Nebraska Public Media. Then if you're really missing Nebraska football on Saturday, feel free to check this out. To celebrate the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium, Nebraska Public Media has created a virtual tour of the original stadium as it was in 1926. This is really cool. I checked it out. The model created for In the Deed, the Glory, that program that we did on Nebraska Public Media. Memorial Stadium, it looks awesome. Allows you to walk through the entire stadium, see what it was like in the stands about 100 years ago. It even includes the very first expansion of the stadium as well, Schulte Fieldhouse. Head to nebraskapublicmedia.org/Memorial Stadium to take a virtual tour today. Then on Monday, we kick off our year in NSA coverage with the state softball championships. We'll be live with those 3 games starting at 1 p.m. And of course, we'll be right back here next Tuesday for our bye week show special. Our friend Mike Babcock, writer for Hail Varsity, will join us as well. Thanks to Jeremiah Searles and our student volunteers in the call center for joining us tonight. For Jay Moore, Damon Benning, and Sean Callahan, I'm Michael Severe. We'll see you next week right here on Big Red Wrap Up.